Here's a few details on the 2008 wide glide that I'm selling. Had to buy it for a few years, got it really well sorted now. Selling it because I'm going to keep the turboed one, and that's my sort of daily rider anyway, the turbo one. I guess we'll start with the good bits. So the motor's a S&ST-124. We had Greg Dahl at GMS Racing in the States build it for us. He obviously knows what he's doing with engines, and he's got the world's fastest street-tied Harley at the minute, 7-something seconds, something ridiculous, very, very fast. Anywho's, he fitted this with, got the B2 heads, so B2 there, which are very, very, very hard to find nowadays. I don't think they make them anymore. Big ports, so flow a lot of air. If you want to make power, these are the go-to heads. We've got 6.2 grams a second injectors, 64mm throttle body. That's a horsepower incorporated throttle body. About 9.8 to 1 compression ratio. He put the fueling block studs in there as well, just a hell of a lot stronger. Hold this thing together, more clamping force on the barrels and cylinder head. The Bullet 64mm horsepower incorporated throttle body. They're a really nice bit of kit. I think he's put the fueling oil pump in too, from memory. We haven't actually had the cam cover off. Got the stock 640 cams in there that the S&ST-124 comes with. Been a really, really, really good engine. I had no problems with it at all. Rest of the valve train stock, stock S&S anyways. Gets regular oil changes. Oil's cheap, so we just keep changing it. Just nice to do. I'll get to the Supercharger bit in a minute. Gearbox is a Baker Grudge box, and we ended up using that because I did have a DD7 in the turbo bike, I think it was, a while ago. But what would happen was there's that much torque that these things are producing. As you can see here, it's just grinding the shit out of the selector forks. It's shifting them over too hard, and it's pushing them to bits. I did that a couple of times before I'll chuck it in. They're just not rated for the sort of power that we're putting through these things, sort of torque. This one here is making just shy of 230 horsepower and 195 foot-pounds, so it's pretty good numbers. And the Grudge box was the only way to make the thing survive. I had no problems at all. I got the Grudge box in the turbo bike too, and absolutely bulletproof. Chain drive, of course, there's no way a belt's ever going to survive. Got a steel sprocket. The rear wheel is off a Yamaha, what the hell are they called? MT-01 road bike. I did that so we could get a stickier rear wheel on the back. Road tyre, just a lot better compounds if you wanted to give the thing a hiding, which we do. So a lot more choices for the tyres. Front end, again's off Yamaha MT-01. The whole thing's certified too, by the way, so it's no problems with warrants. We extended the forks 100 mils and custom made another clamp to go over top where the extensions are. So it's absolutely 100% buddy secure. And I think we've got, from memory, Andriani shocks in the front. What are these? Razor shocks in the back. English things, which seem to work pretty good. Got a True Track front and rear, which absolutely transforms these diners. Otherwise the bloody RCN floats around something chronically. And I've also got an upgraded bearing on the drive side of the swing arm, plus I custom make bush for the non-drive side of the swing arm, and that tightens the whole thing up so it actually clamps together on the gearbox. So these things handle really, really well for Harley. They handle really, really well now. Got a Thundermax ECU running it. Had a lot of luck with those. Had no problem at all. Just seems to do what it does. I think we're running, from memory, about 12 pounds of boost with the current setup. All the switch gear and everything's all in really good nick, handlebars and so on. New master cylinder, new filters, all the filters throughout the tank, which no one ever does nowadays. And all of the oil changes I do on the bikes use the scavenge type oil system, whereas we've got a pipe that goes into the sump, and instead of the dirty oil coming out from the engine into the sump again, we bypass it and drain it out. So you've always got about a litre of oil hanging inside the engine. So if you guys don't know about, or girls know about doing the scavenge type oil system, yeah, get learning, because you never ever get a clean oil change in your bike unless you do it. And if your shop that you work with isn't doing it, get another shop, because it's hideous when you see how much dirty oil stays in the engine. So yeah, so we look after them. They're always getting clean oil in these things. Bazzani pipe, and of course we had to custom make the headers because of the 4-bolt arrangement on the B2 heads. What else we got? Yeah, so certified in New Zealand, that's all tickety-boo. Pretty good brakes, of course, being that it's got twin discs. So on the business side of it, yeah, the engine, let's say 124, just on 230 horsepower, but getting there was a bit of a trouble. So you'll see the coffin of death, all of the parts that you go through to get to a reliable place with these bikes. So compensators, something that we were chewing through on big horsepower bikes, and we ended up going with a Dark Horse man-of-war compensator, which I can't show you because it's in the bike, but they're the absolute bloody bees knees, those things. And it's taken all the struggle out of the rest of the drivetrain, because we've got obviously it's a chain drive in the primary, but we've got a Barnett Scorpion clutch in there that's got the throw out weights on it. But yeah, the stock compensators, even the Screaming Eagle ones, they were getting destroyed. So the Man of War from Dark Horse has been bloody great for us. It's absolutely bulletproof. So that got past that. The grudge box got rid of those. Now the drive system on these Prochargers relies on in the primary wet belt, which doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about it, but that's what they do. Problem being, because it's wet, so you got this belt here is in the primary, so it's running wet, and I don't know anyone in the world that's had any joy with making those things last. We had it all installed absolutely correctly, the right tension, all that sort of shit. We were told that by someone I forget now, if we keep it to about 170 horsepower and don't hit the rev limiter, then these things will last. Of course, that's a waste of time, because you want to hit the rev limiter as much as you can if you're running around having fun, and as much horsepower as you can. So we got rid of that, put a chain drive in, but that was destroying itself too. I thought, well, something's going on here, because when this thing shit itself, it took out the primary chain rather. So it was, yeah, something was afoot. What the hell was going on? We thought it might have been a problem with the chain, which had never ever broken, but it did. Anyways, went to the extreme and custom made some a gear drive system for it. This is the straight cut gears that we put in. Actually, they're in the wrong way. Top there. And that bolts to the Man of War compensator, the Dark Horse compensator that we've got in there. So that got rid of any of the problems with braking on the drive side of it. But when we first got the thing, this is going back before all that too. Well, the first time we were braking the inside belts and the outside drive belts. The outside drive belt, the dry belt, is the serpentine one to drive from the so it goes through the primary onto the dry side, and that drives onto the Supercharger. So that had a little wee serpentine belt, which is also shit in itself. So we got rid of that and custom made our own ribbed belt setup, but it was tearing those to bits too. So there's still something else going afoot here which we couldn't quite get our head around. So went even further. So we've got a list sorted out now. So nothing breaking in the primary. But on the drive side, we stepped up to these. Custom made our own wide belt tooth pulleys. But these should never ever broken. That's half the size of a bloody supercharged 671 type blower belt. But as you can see, it was just stripping the teeth off the belt. And these are the super duper belts. They're only lasting literally a few kilometres. So we had to go back to the drawing board a little bit and see what was going on. And what we found was, we believe, the blower valve is simply too small. That's about, I think, 22 mil or something inside diameter on a blower valve. So, not much over 3/4 of an inch. And you got a 2-inch hole coming out of the supercharger. So, if you're tearing down the road at or near the rev limiter, which we would do, shut the throttle off quickly. Because these things are positive drive, the supercharger's turning, doing its thing, and making power, making air, compressing air, punching that out, trying to do its thing, and of course heading up into a throttle body which is slammed shut, of course, and that pressure is building up inside there. And we put some gauges on there too, and you can see the pressure spikes. So that's getting turned around by the gears inside, which the belt was stripping, because something has to give. If that thing's trying to turn around and it's basically deadheading the supercharger, the belt was stripped, but so we solved that. Then we went on to the drive side, and it was stripping the even that big tooth belt. We've actually gone back to another ribbed belt this time. This is an 8 rib as opposed to the 3 rib that was on there, so that's absolutely bulletproof too. But the key to it surviving was putting the 2-inch blower valve on there. So as I say, once you slam the throttle shut, you're building up a pressure surge in there, can't go anywhere, and it was spiking in the pressure. So that's allowed that pressure spike to dump and relieve the stress and strain on the supercharger, which of course has been positively driven. So if there was any further spikes, then the rib belt can slip a little bit and take it up. But there's been no slipping. That's been absolutely bloody perfect and really reliable now. Totally spot on. We found originally that the mount was bending too because it actually takes a fair bit of horsepower to drive these things, the blowers. So the whole mount was shifting over, and of course that was playing with the belt tension. So I custom made a tensioner come off the top of the head, very, very simple one. So that holds that tight, and now no longer there's the plate bend. So that's been really, really successful. Took a hell of a lot of time, as you can see, to get through it. To be honest, that may or may not have lived. I still don't think it would have, because I know Ford has an oil belt on the Transit that runs in oil, and that shits itself too. Belts aren't designed to run on oil, period. There's no manufacturer in the world that's been able to do it successfully. That probably would survive now, no problem at all. Now we've done the extra wastegate. That's a complete overkill, but we're there now, so that's been handy. So anyone else looking at getting Procharger, I can recommend them. They're shit hot, and makes really good power. A lot of fun, you just keep revving the thing, and more power is there to play with. But definitely, if you're ever going to get a Procharger on and you want to give this thing a hiding, then you need to put a larger blower valve on there to get rid of those pressure spikes and pressure surges and take the stress off the drive system, which we've done. So yeah, just a good overall usable bike. I've ridden around plenty. That's basically a daily bike too, like the turbo one. but with, you know, knocking on the door, 230 horsepower, and you can do it reliably, which is a hell of a lot of fun. See, that's stone cold now. So we'll start her up. Yeah, so starts and runs, does everything nicely when it's cold. Oh, I forgot to mention, got a manual chain adjuster for the primary chain too, because it just kills the stock ones, the automatic ones. So yeah, really good basis for the engine. It's been very, very reliable. The key, as I said, is to do the oil changes correctly, and there were people out there that don't believe in it, but whatever. You know, if you do the scavenge type system, unless you do the scavenge system, you're always going to have 800 to 1,000 mils of oil left in the engine. And if you don't believe me, fucking try it. You'll be horrified. So tell your bike shop to get schooled up and do that, and then you'll be able to look after the engine properly. The intercooler is probably too small for the horsepower we're making. If we put a bigger intercooler on, we could probably drop the intake temps, make that horsepower easier, but everything is working fine. So yeah, so that's what it is. We're going to list it on YouTube and around the place, so make some offers. If they're silly offers, of course we won't respond to you, but if you're serious and you want a powerful bike that's reliably making, you know, good power. Where's that bloody, say 226 horsepower at basically 6.3 and 195 foot-pounds at 5,400. So it's pretty good power. There's heaps more than made, of course, but you know, there's good streetable horsepower that you can use every day. It's kind of nice. So yeah, a lot of fun. Nice bike.